The Titan's birth. The vast expanse of space stretched endlessly before Admiral Zara Chen as she stood at the viewport of Olympus Station. Her dark eyes, reflecting the pinpricks of distant stars, narrowed as she contemplated humanity's precarious position. For years, the Kryvax Empire had pushed humanity to the brink of extinction, their relentless attacks destroying colony after colony. Now, Earth itself lay within their sights. "Admiral," a voice crackled through her comm, "the Council is ready for you." Zara took a deep breath, steeling herself for the meeting ahead. She turned, her crisp uniform rustling, as she strode purposefully through the station's corridors. The fate of humanity rested on what transpired in the next hour. The council chamber hummed with tense energy as Zara entered. 5 grim-faced individuals, representing Earth's remaining power blocks, sat around a circular table. At the center, a holographic display flickered to life, showcasing humanity's dwindling territory. Admiral Chen. Council President Adebayo nodded, his deep voice resonating in the chamber. "What news of Project Titan?" Zara activated her datapad, projecting a new image above the table. A massive vessel, still in its skeletal phase, rotated slowly before them. "Project Titan is proceeding as planned, but we're pushing our resources to the limit. Engineer Novak assures me that we're still on schedule, but barely." Councillor Jado leaned forward, her brow furrowed. "And you're certain this Supercarrier will turn the tide against the Kryvax?" "It's not just a supercarrier, Councillor," Zora replied, her voice firm. "Titan represents the pinnacle of human engineering and determination. It combines our most advanced weapon systems, shielding technology, and propulsion methods. More importantly, it houses technology that the Kryvax have never encountered." She manipulated the hologram, zooming in on various sections of the ship. Quantum entanglement communications, allowing instant coordination across vast distances. Gravity manipulation drives that will make it the fastest and most maneuverable capital ship ever built. And our ace in the hole, the Singularity Cannon. A murmur ran through the council. The Singularity Cannon was theoretical, a weapon of such destructive potential that many considered it too dangerous to even attempt. "You're telling us," Councillor Petrov growled, "that you're putting an untested weapon that could tear apart the fabric of spacetime on our last hope." Zara met his gaze unflinchingly. "I'm telling you that we're using every advantage at our disposal. The Kryvax have superior numbers and centuries of space warfare experience. We need a game changer." President Adebayo raised a hand, silencing further debate. "The Council has already approved Project Titan. Our concern now is whether it can be completed in time. The latest intelligence suggests the Kryvax are massing for a push into the Sol system." Zara nodded grimly. "That's why I've come to you today. We need to accelerate our timeline. I'm requesting the diversion of all available resources to Titan's construction. Every ship, every worker, every scrap of material we can spare." The council chamber erupted in protests. Councillor Lee's voice rose above the others. "You're asking us to leave our remaining colonies defenseless. We'd be sacrificing millions. We'd be giving those millions a fighting chance." Zara shot back, her composure cracking for the first time. "Without Titan, we're looking at the extinction of our species. This is our last stand." Silence fell over the room as the weight of her words sank in. President Adebayo studied the rotating hologram of Titan, his expression unreadable. Finally, he spoke. "Admiral Chen is right. We've run out of alternatives. I'm authorizing the Emergency Powers Act. All resources are to be diverted to Project Titan, effective immediately." As the council begrudgingly voiced their assent, Zara felt a mix of relief and trepidation. They'd won this battle, but the war was far from over. Leaving the chamber, she found Engineer Ethan Novak waiting for her. His usually cheerful face was drawn with exhaustion, dark circles under his eyes betraying countless sleepless nights. "How'd it go in there?" he asked, falling into step beside her. "We got what we needed," Zara replied. "But now the real work begins. Can your teams handle the increased pace? Ethan ran a hand through his disheveled hair. We'll have to. I've got some ideas for streamlining the construction process, but we're pushing the boundaries of known physics here, Zora. One miscalculation and... I know, she cut him off. But we don't have a choice. The fate of our species rests on Titan's shoulders. Or bulkheads, I suppose. They reached the shuttle bay, where a sleek vessel waited to take them back to the construction site. As they boarded, Ethan's tablet chimed. His eyes widened as he read the incoming message. What is it? Zara asked, noticing his expression. It's from Dr. Lakshmi at the quantum lab. Ethan breathed. They've had a breakthrough with the entanglement drive. This could change everything. As the shuttle's engines hummed to life, Zora allowed herself a small smile. Perhaps the odds weren't as insurmountable as they seemed. Humanity had always thrived when pushed to its limits, and now, with extinction looming, they would show the galaxy what they were truly capable of. The shuttle streaked away from Olympus Station, carrying humanity's best and brightest towards their rendezvous with destiny. In the vast shipyards orbiting Jupiter, the skeletal frame of Titan waited, a testament to human ingenuity and the indomitable will to survive. As they approached, Zora's comm crackled to life. Admiral, a panicked voice reported, we've detected anomalies in the shipyard's sensor grid. There's a possibility that... The rest of the message was lost as a blinding flash erupted from one of Titan's incomplete sections. Klaxons blared, and Zara's heart raced as she realized the true battle for humanity's survival had already begun. Espionage and sabotage. The acrid smell of burned circuitry filled the air as Admiral Zara Chen strode through the damaged section of Titan. Debris crunched under her boots, and emergency lights cast an eerie red glow over the twisted metal. Engineer Ethan Novak walked beside her, his tablet displaying a continuous stream of damage reports. How bad is it, Ethan? Zara asked, her voice tight with concern. Ethan's fingers danced across the screen. Could have been worse. The blast was localized to the sensor array hub. We lost about 2 weeks of work, but the core systems are intact. Zara's eyes narrowed. This wasn't an accident, was it? Not a chance, Ethan confirmed. Our preliminary analysis shows traces of Kryvak's nanotech. They've infiltrated the shipyard. The implications sent a chill down Zora's spine. If the Kryvaks had spies this deep in their most secure facility, nowhere was safe. She tapped her comm. Security Chief Ramos, implement Protocol Omega. I want every worker, every piece of equipment screened. Nothing moves without clearance. Understood, Admiral, came the crisp reply. We're already on it. As they made their way to the command center, Zara couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. The vast, cavernous interior of Titan seemed to hold shadows in every corner, each one potentially concealing an enemy. The command center was a hive of activity when they arrived. Holographic displays showed every aspect of Titan's construction, now interspersed with security alerts and scan results. Dr. Lakshmi Patel, head of the quantum physics team, rushed over to them. Admiral, Engineer Novak, she greeted, her accent thickened by stress. I've been analyzing the data from the explosion. The Kryvak's tech, it's like nothing we've seen before. It's as if it can adapt and camouflage itself to mimic our own technology. Ethan's eyes widened. That explains how they bypassed our security measures. We've been looking for foreign objects, not our own tech acting strangely. Zara's mind raced. Can we develop a way to detect it? Dr. Patel nodded cautiously. Possibly. The quantum entanglement drive we're developing. We might be able to modify it to create a detection field that can distinguish between true human tech and these mimics. Do it, Zara ordered. Ethan, work with Lakshmi. I want a prototype yesterday. As the two scientists hurried off, Security Chief Elena Ramos approached. Her dark features were set in a grim expression. Admiral, we've identified the saboteur. It's complicated. Zara followed Elena to a secure holding area. Through a one-way mirror, she saw a man she recognized. Joshua Carter, one of their most skilled engineers. He sat motionless, staring blankly at the wall. "He's not talking," Elena explained. "And our scans? Well, see for yourself." A holographic display showed a scan of Carter's brain. Amidst the normal neural pathways, there was a web of unfamiliar circuitry. "Kryvax tech?" Zara asked, though she already knew the answer. Elena nodded. "We think they found a way to hijack human minds, to turn our own people into unwitting spies and saboteurs." Carter probably had no idea what he was doing. The revelation hit Zara like a physical blow. The enemy wasn't just at their gates, it was in their heads. How many others could be compromised? "Unknown," Elena admitted. "We're screening everyone." But if we hadn't caught Carter in the act? Zara's calm chirped, interrupting them. It was Ethan. "Admiral, you need to see this. We've made a breakthrough." In the quantum lab, Ethan and Dr. Paddle stood before a swirling vortex of energy contained within a magnetic field. Pieces of technology, both human and the newly discovered Kryvax mimics, orbited the phenomenon. "We've created a quantum disambiguation field," Dr. Paddle explained, her eyes shining with excitement despite her exhaustion. "It can differentiate between true matter and the Kryvax mimetic tech at the subatomic level." Ethan picked up the explanation. "We can modify Titan's shields to generate this field. It won't just protect us from external attacks, it'll root out any hidden Kryvax tech within the ship itself." For the first time in days, Zara felt a glimmer of hope. "How soon can we implement this?" "That's the best part," Ethan grinned. The entanglement drive wasn't just a breakthrough for propulsion. With this technology, we can create a ship-wide quantum network. Every system, every component of Titan will be quantum-linked. Dr. Patel nodded enthusiastically. "It means instant communication between all parts of the ship, but more importantly, it makes it impossible for the Kryvax to infiltrate. Any foreign element would disrupt the entanglement." Zara's mind raced with the possibilities. This changes everything. Not just for Titan, but for all of humanity's defenses. "Well done, both of you." As they left the lab, discussing implementation plans, an alarm blared through the station. "Intruder alert in Section 7G, a computerized voice announced. "Unknown energy signature detected." Zara broke into a run, Ethan close behind. They arrived at Section 7G to find a scene of chaos. A swirling vortex of energy, similar to but far more chaotic than the one in the lab, pulsed in the center of the room. Technicians scrambled to contain it with force fields. "What the hell is that?" Zara demanded. One of the technicians, her face pale, turned to them. We think it's a Kryvax attempt to create their own quantum portal. They're trying to bypass our defenses entirely." As they watched, the vortex stabilized. Through its shimmering surface, they could see shadowy figures moving. "Seal off this section," Zara ordered. "Ethan, can we use the disambiguation field here?" Ethan was already moving, barking orders into his comm. "We're routing power now." "But Admiral, if the Kryvax have this technology..." Zara nodded grimly. "I know. The war just changed again." As the disambiguation field sprang to life, the vortex began to destabilize. The shadowy figures on the other side became agitated, their alien forms twisting as they realized their plan had failed. With a final, reality-bending shriek, the portal collapsed in on itself. The sudden silence was deafening. Zara turned to Ethan, her expression a mix of determination and concern. "We need to accelerate everything. If the Kryvax are this close to cracking quantum technology, we don't have a moment to lose." As they hurried back to the command center, alarms still blaring around them, Zara couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. The race to complete Titan had become more than a battle for survival. It was a sprint to the very edge of scientific possibility. In the depths of space, unbeknownst to the humans, a vast Kryvax fleet was already on the move. The final confrontation was approaching faster than anyone realized. First contact and first blood. The shipyard buzzed with frenetic energy as final preparations were made for Titan's maiden voyage. Admiral Zara Chen stood on the bridge, her steady gaze taking in the bustle of activity around her. Screens flickered with status reports, and the air hummed with the barely contained power of the massive vessel. "All systems are green, Admiral," Ethan reported, his fingers dancing across a holographic interface. "The quantum disambiguation field is stable, and the entanglement drive is, well, it's doing things that shouldn't be possible." Zara allowed herself a small smile. "That's what we're counting on, Ethan." Status of the Kryvax fleet. A young lieutenant spoke up, her voice tense. "Long-range sensors detect a massive force approaching the Kuiper Belt, Admiral. Estimated time to Saturn's orbit: 6 hours. Then we launch in 5, Zara declared. She opened a channel to the entire ship. "Attention all crew. This is Admiral Chen. In 5 hours, we face the greatest threat humanity has ever known. Titan is more than a ship. It's the embodiment of human ingenuity, determination, and hope. Each of you represents the best of what humanity has to offer. Together, we will show the Kryvax that Earth is not their prey. We are not helpless victims. We are the defenders of our species, and we will prevail." A cheer erupted throughout the ship, the sound of thousands of voices united in purpose. As the final minutes ticked down, Zara felt a mix of anticipation and dread. Everything they had worked for came down to this moment. "Moorings disengage," Ethan announced. "Quantum drive spooling up." Zara took a deep breath. "Take us out, Helm." Nice and easy. Titan's massive form began to move, gliding out of the shipyard with a grace that belied its enormous size. As they cleared the structure, Zara gave the order they'd all been waiting for: engage quantum drive. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, reality itself appeared to bend around them. Stars streaked into lines, then blurred completely. When the view stabilized, they found themselves near the orbit of Saturn, having crossed a distance that would have taken conventional drives weeks and near seconds. "By all that's holy," someone whispered on the bridge. Ethan's face was split by a wide grin. "It worked. The entanglement drive performed even better than our simulations predicted." Their celebration was short-lived. Alarms blared as the tactical officer shouted, "Multiple contacts. The Kryvax fleet has altered course and is heading straight for us." Zara's training kicked in. "Battle stations. Bring all weapons systems online. Activate quantum shields." The space around Titan shimmered as layers of quantum-entangled energy enveloped the ship. On the main view screen, the Kryvax fleet came into view. A terrifying armada of biomechanical ships, each one a twisted merger of organic and technological components. "They're hailing us," the communications officer reported, surprise evident in his voice. Zara nodded. On screen, the image of a Kryvax commander appeared, a being with multiple eyes set in a carapace-like head, tentacles writhing where a human would have a lower body. When it spoke, the translator struggled to keep up with the alien concepts. "Human vessel," the Kryvax intoned, its voice a discordant melody. "Your presence here is unexpected. Your technology. It sings with a harmony we have not encountered. Submit, and your species may yet serve a purpose in the greater symphony of the universe." Zara's eyes narrowed. "We're not here to submit. We're here to defend our home, our people, and our right to exist free from your tyranny." The Kryvax commander's eyes blinked in what might have been amusement. "Your defiance is noted, but futile. Prepare to be." The transmission cut off abruptly as the first Kryvax ships opened fire. Beams of coruscating energy lanced towards Titan, only to be absorbed by the quantum shields. "Return fire," Zara ordered. "All batteries, concentrate on the lead ships." Titan's weapons blazed to life. Particle beams, plasma torpedoes, and exotic matter projectiles streaked across space. The first volley caught the Kryvax by surprise, their own shields buckling under the assault. 3 enemy ships erupted in silent explosions. But the Kryvax were quick to adapt. Their ships began to move in complex, ever-shifting formations, making targeting difficult. Energy tendrils reached out, probing Titan's defenses. "They're trying to analyze our shield frequency," Ethan reported, his hands flying over the controls. "I'm implementing random quantum fluctuations to counter." The battle raged on, a deadly dance of advanced technologies. Titan proved its worth, its revolutionary systems allowing it to stand toe-to-toe with a numerically superior force. But the Kryvax were relentless, their biological ships seemingly able to regenerate damage. "Admiral," the tactical officer called out, "we've got multiple boarding attempts. They're using some kind of quantum tunneling technology." Zara's mind raced. "Ethan, can we use the disambiguation field internally?" On it. He worked furiously, rerouting power, activating ship-wide quantum purge. Now. Throughout Titan, flashes of light erupted as the quantum field disrupted the Kryvax boarding parties. Alien screams echoed through the corridors as the invaders found themselves suddenly cut off from their own technology. But the victory was short-lived. A massive Kryvax dreadnought, easily twice the size of Titan, emerged from the chaotic battle. It began to glow with an ominous energy. "Incoming," the tactical officer shouted. Energy readings off the charts. Zara made a split-second decision. Divert all power to forward shields. Helm, set collision course. The crew looked at her in shock, but carried out the orders. Titan surged forward just as the Kryvax dreadnought fired its main weapon, a beam of pure reality-warping energy. The quantum shields held, barely, as Titan plowed into the enemy vessel. The impact was catastrophic for both ships. Alarms blared as systems overloaded. But Titan's quantum-entangled structure held together, while the Kryvax dreadnought began to break apart. "Now," Zara commanded, "fire the singularity cannon." At the bow of Titan, a weapon of last resort powered up. A miniature black hole formed, then was propelled towards the heart of the Kryvax fleet. The effect was devastating. Ships were torn apart, crushed, or simply vanished as they crossed the event horizon. In the stunned silence that followed, Zara surveyed the battlefield. The Kryvax fleet was in disarray, many ships destroyed or crippled. But Titan, too, had taken heavy damage. "Status report," she demanded, her voice hoarse. Ethan looked up from his console, his face a mix of awe and exhaustion. "We're hurt, Admiral, but we're alive. The quantum core is stable, but we've lost significant offensive capabilities." However, he paused, a glimmer of excitement in his eyes. "I think we've learned more about Kryvax technology in this one battle than in years of research." Zara nodded, allowing herself a moment of hope. "Send word to Earth. Tell them Titan has drawn first blood. But this war is far from over." As the battered but unbroken Titan limped back towards Earth, the crew knew that they had just changed the course of the conflict. Humanity had proven it could stand against the Kryvax. But the alien threat was far from defeated, and the greatest challenges still lay ahead. The turning point. The war room aboard Titan hummed with tension as Admiral Zara Chen surveyed the holographic display of the Sol system. Red markers indicating Kryvax position swarmed at the edges, held at bay by the blue icon representing humanity's greatest weapon. But for how long? "Admiral," Ethan's voice cut through her thoughts, "the repairs are complete. We've even managed to improve the singularity cannon's efficiency by 23%. Zara nodded, her eyes never leaving the display. "Good work, Ethan. We'll need every advantage we can get." The door hissed open, admitting Dr. Lakshmi Patil. The quantum physicist's usually immaculate appearance was disheveled, dark circles under her eyes betraying countless sleepless nights. "Admiral, Engineer Novak," she greeted, her voice tight with excitement. "I've made a breakthrough in understanding the Kryvax quantum tunneling technology." This caught Zara's full attention. Go on, Doctor. Lakshmi activated a secondary display, showing complex equations and diagrams. Their tunneling tech isn't just for transportation. It's the key to their entire war strategy. They use it to coordinate their fleet movements, to share information instantly across vast distances, even to power their weapons. Ethan's eyes widened as he grasped the implications. If we could disrupt that network, we could cripple their entire force. Zora finished. Doctor, how quickly can we develop a countermeasure? Before Lakshmi could answer, alarms blared throughout the ship. The tactical officer's voice rang out. Multiple Kryvax signatures detected. They're launching a full-scale assault on Mars Colony. Zara's mind raced. Mars Colony was humanity's last major outpost besides Earth. If it fell, they'd lose not only strategic resources, but also the morale of the entire human race. Battle stations, she commanded. Set course for Mars, maximum speed. Ethan, work with Dr. Patel. I want a prototype of that disruption technology by the time we arrive. As Titan surged towards Mars, the crew worked feverishly. The quantum entanglement drive allowed them to cover the vast distance in mere hours, but every second counted. They emerged from quantum space to find chaos. The skies above Mars were filled with Kryvax ships, raining destruction upon the domed cities below. The colonial defense fleet, vastly outnumbered, fought valiantly but was being overwhelmed. All weapons, fire at will. Zara ordered. Prioritize targets threatening the ground installations. Titan's advanced weaponry tore into the Kryvax fleet. Particle beams lanced through alien hulls, while quantum-guided missiles found their marks with unerring accuracy. But the Kryvax numbers seemed endless. Admiral, Ethan called out, his voice strained. We've got a prototype disruptor, but its range is limited. We'll need to get closer to their command ship. Zara studied the tactical display, noting the massive Kryvax vessel coordinating the attack. Helm, take us in. All power to forward shields. Titan plowed through the battlefield, shrugging off hits that would have annihilated lesser ships. As they closed in on the Kryvax command vessel, a strange energy field began to envelope both ships. They're trying to pull us into subspace, the helm officer shouted. Perfect, Zara said, a grim smile on her face. Ethan, now. Ethan activated the disruptor. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, like a wave rippling through reality itself, a pulse of energy emanated from Titan. The Kryvax ships nearest to them suddenly went dark, their coordinated movements dissolving into chaos. It's working, Lakshmi exclaimed. Their quantum network is collapsing. But the victory was short-lived. The Kryvax, ever adaptive, began to regroup. Their command ship, though staggered, launched a counterattack. Tendrils of biomechanical energy lashed out, breaching Titan's shields in places. Hull breach, Deck 7, came the report. We're venting atmosphere. Zara's mind raced. They had dealt a significant blow, but Titan couldn't withstand this assault for long. Then an idea struck her. Ethan, the singularity cannon. Can we modify it to create a sustained field instead of a single projectile? Ethan's fingers flew over his console as he ran calculations. Theoretically, yes, but the power requirements would be enormous. We'd have to divert energy from life support, weapons, everything. Do it, Zara commanded. Helm, take us to the center of their fleet. Comms, send a message to the colonial fleet. Fall back to minimum safe distance. As Titan pushed deeper into the heart of the Kryvax armada, the crew worked frantically to reconfigure the singularity cannon. Damage reports flooded in as the ship took hit after hit, but Zara's resolve never wavered. In position, Admiral, the helm officer reported. Zara took a deep breath. Ethan, fire when ready. The ship shuddered as the modified singularity cannon activated. Instead of a projectile, a sphere of intense gravitational energy expanded from Titan's bow. Kryvax ships caught in its influence began to crumple, drawn inexorably towards the center. It's working. Ethan shouted over the groaning of Titan's stressed hull. But we can't maintain this for long. Zara watched the tactical display, counting down the seconds as more and more Kryvax vessels were crushed or pulled into the miniature black hole. Just when it seemed Titan itself would be torn apart, she gave the order: deactivate the cannon and engage quantum drive. In a flash of twisted spacetime, Titan vanished from the heart of the Kryvax fleet, reappearing at the edge of the battlefield. Where once there had been hundreds of enemy ships, now there was only debris and the slowly dissipating remnants of the gravitational anomaly. A cheer went up from the crew as the magnitude of their victory sank in. The Kryvax assault on Mars had been broken, and for the first time, humanity had dealt a truly crippling blow to the alien armada. But as the adrenaline of battle faded, the cost became clear. Titan's hull was breached in multiple places, entire sections exposed to the vacuum of space. The singularity cannon, pushed beyond its limits, was little more than a fused mass of exotic matter. As damage reports flooded in, Zara realized that their greatest weapon, their last hope, might have fought its final battle. Yet the determination in the eyes of her crew told her that this sacrifice had not been in vain. "Send word to Earth," she ordered, her voice thick with emotion. "Tell them Mars is safe, and we've discovered the key to defeating the Kryvax. But we'll need every ship, every resource we have for one final push." As Titan limped back towards Earth, Zara knew that the true test still lay ahead. They had won a critical victory, but the war was far from over. The fate of humanity would be decided in the battles to come. Humanity's stand. The Sol system buzzed with activity as the last of Earth's ships took formation around the battered but unbowed Titan. Admiral Zara Chen stood on the bridge, her posture rigid despite the exhaustion etched on her face. The past week had been a blur of frantic repairs, strategy sessions, and preparation for what everyone knew would be humanity's final stand. "Status report," Zara commanded, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the approaching Kryvax armada. Ethan's voice was strained but determined. "Titan's at 78% operational capacity, Admiral. We've managed to repair most of the critical systems, but the singularity cannon is beyond salvation." However, he paused, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. "Dr. Patel has something that might turn the tide." Dr. Lakshmi Patel stepped forward, her usual lab coat replaced by a utility jumpsuit. "We've reverse-engineered the Kryvax quantum tunneling technology," she explained. "Combined with our own entanglement drive, we can create a system-wide disruption field. It won't just cut off their communication, it'll destabilize their very ships." Zara nodded, a grim smile on her face. "That's the good news we needed. How soon can we deploy it?" "We're ready now," Lakshmi replied. "But there's a catch. The power requirements are enormous. We'll only get one shot, and Titan will need to be at the heart of the Kryvax fleet for maximum effect." The implications hung heavy in the air. Titan would have to sacrifice itself to save humanity. Before Zara could respond, the tactical officer's voice cut through the tension. "Kryvax fleet, dropping out of FTL. They're launching fighters. All ships, battle formations," Zara ordered, her voice steady. "This is what we've prepared for. Humanity stands together, here and now." The space around Earth erupted into chaos as the two fleets clashed. Titan led the charge, its advanced weapons tearing through Kryvax ships, while its quantum shields held firm against the alien onslaught. But for every enemy vessel destroyed, two more seemed to take its place. As the battle raged, Ethan worked feverishly at his console, coordinating with Dr. Patel to prepare the disruption field. "Admiral," he called out, "we're ready, but we need to get closer to their command ship." Zara studied the tactical display, noting the massive Kryvax vessel at the heart of their formation. It was easily 3 times Titan's size, bristling with biomechanical weapons. "Helm, set a course. All power to engines and forward shields." Titan surged forward, plowing through the chaotic battlefield. Earth ships formed up around it, providing cover fire as they approached the Krivak's command vessel. The alien flagship seemed to sense the threat, focusing its fire on the approaching human ships. Hull breaches on decks 3 through 7. An officer reported, "We're losing power to the starboard engines." "Reroute all non-essential power," Zara commanded. "We need to get closer." As they closed in, a massive energy beam lanced out from the Krivak's flagship, catching an Earth destroyer. The ship disintegrated in a silent explosion, its crew's sacrifice allowing Titan to press on. "We're in range," Ethan shouted over the din of battle. "Initiating disruption field in 3, 2, 1. A pulse of energy unlike anything seen before emanated from Titan. It spread outward in a sphere of shimmering quantum potential, enveloping ship after ship. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then, like a wave rippling through reality itself, Krivak's vessels began to falter. Their biomechanical components, so reliant on quantum tunneling, began to fail. Ships lost power, weapons went silent, and in some cases, entire sections of alien vessels simply phased out of existence. But the effect wasn't limited to the Krivak's. Titan, at the epicenter of the disruption field, shuddered violently. Alarms blared as systems overloaded and failed. "We've done it," Ethan reported, his voice a mix of triumph and resignation. "The Krivak's fleet is crippled. But Titan, we're losing her, Admiral." Zara's eyes swept over her crew, seeing the same mix of determination and acceptance on every face. "Send the signal to the fleet. All ships, press the attack. Finish what we've started." As Earth's ships surged forward to mop up the disoriented Krivak's forces, Titan drifted, its once mighty engines silent. Zara opened a channel to the entire ship. "Crew of the Titan, this is Admiral Chen. What we've accomplished here today will be remembered for generations. We came to the edge of extinction, and we pushed back. We showed the galaxy that humanity will not go quietly into the night. It has been the highest honor of my life to serve with each and every one of you." As she finished speaking, a new alarm sounded. The tactical officer's voice was urgent. "Admiral, the Krivak's command ship. It's powering up some kind of last-ditch weapon." Zara's mind raced. They had one last card to play. "Ethan, the quantum core. Can we overload it?" Ethan's eyes widened as he grasped her plan. "Yes, but the explosion would be massive. We'd need to get closer, and there would be no chance of survival." Zara nodded, her decision made. "Helm, set a collision course. All hands, abandon ship. That's an order." As escape pods jettisoned from Titan's hull, carrying the brave crew to safety, Zara, Ethan, and a skeleton crew guided the dying ship towards its final target. The Krivak's command vessel loomed larger in the view screen, its weapon glowing with ominous energy. "Impact in 10 seconds, the helm officer reported. Zara looked at Ethan, seeing her own mixture of fear and resolve mirrored in his eyes. "It's been an honor, my friend." "The honor was mine, Admiral," he replied. As Titan collided with the Krivak's flagship, its quantum core detonated. The resulting explosion was like a new star being born, briefly outshining the sun itself. When the light faded, both ships were gone, along with a significant portion of the remaining Krivak's fleet. In the aftermath, as Earth's ships mopped up the last pockets of resistance, the full magnitude of what had been accomplished began to sink in. Humanity had faced its greatest threat and emerged victorious, though the cost had been high. Weeks later, as the Sol system began the long process of rebuilding, a memorial service was held for the crew of Titan. But it wasn't just a time of mourning. It was a celebration of human resilience, ingenuity, and the indomitable spirit that had carried them through their darkest hour. As the new Earth Defense Fleet was christened, with ships bearing names like Chen, Novak, and Paddle, humanity looked to the stars with new eyes. They had proven themselves on a galactic stage, and the universe would never be the same. The Krivak's threat was over, but this was just the beginning. Humanity was ready to take its place among the stars, no longer prey, but a force to be reckoned with. The legacy of Titan and its brave crew would light the way for generations to come.